Hey!
Muddy Forest, how are you, my friend?
Matty. I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm alright. You haven't shown you this.
Oh, hello.
This is the biggest cafetiere I have ever purchased in my life. I got it last week. You can't hear it. I was going to do a little bit of an ASMR situation.
We could hear it. Oh,
Coffee number 2.
My thing was had a mug of coffee, waited so long for you to arrive, it's gone. But that's.
I was late. I was in co-op. Thea needed some jelly, so we got some jelly amongst other things. But yeah, we had a lovely little trip in co-op, which I also asked for cranberry sauce in co-op. And what the heck, co-op? Why don't you have cranberry sauce? What is that about? I went in there 3 separate occasions. I went to the kind of condiment aisle, and there is no cranberry sauce. You got your mint sauce, your horseradish, all your stuff. I'm like, where's the cranberry? That's the best one.
It is by far. Cranberries are top tier. What roast you having today, then, Matt?
Oh, we're having a little roast. We're gonna get some roast potatoes on, Yorkshire puddings on, get some sausages.
Yeah,
sausages, great. Veggie ones, mate. I know.
Yeah,
you're looking at me with like sausages. I know they're not the sausages I have, the real ones.
What's that signature vegetarian roast? That's what I thought you were going to say. What's it?
Nut roast.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, I mean they're easy to make. I just don't.
Nut roast.
They're just slightly faffy. Yeah. Other than shoving a sausage in an air fryer.
Oh. Wow, away you were. There you go, the poor sausage.
I'm being fed by air. Still don't understand how it works. Air fryers are amazing. This must be how people felt when the microwave turned up.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like literally, the air fryer is game changer. But like no meat household. I don't know if you're really using it to its height, mate.
Oh no, we are. If
Potatoes are good.
Oh, the potatoes are good, to be fair. But if anything, I think vegetarians probably are finding the more inventive ways of using it, mate.
Don't know about that, mate. You should see. Some of me meaty surprises.
I'll do anything to see your meaty surprise. Right. Anyway, we're here. Another episode, dear listener. Hello, how are you? It's great to not see you. It's weird. We don't. It's like a muted relationship. But to think, actually, we have done something. Before we talk about our monthly news, and this is what we're here for this week, we have just put out a story, literally a couple seconds ago, of us asking our dear listeners for some engagement. Now, we are going to, in a minute, record our Friday's episode, which is a brand new thing. Thank you so much for everybody engaging on the Friday's episode last week. It was an absolute hit. Forrest, your anecdote about tipping point, it will forever live long in the memory. But like what we have suggested to do in this episode for Friday is that me and Forrest are going to do a very first improv situation scene. So we have asked you, dear listener, to give us 2 MCU characters in a situation. Now, if we don't, Forrest, which I'm also kind of highly suspecting that we're not going to get a single comment in this hour, I think after it, if we don't hear from anybody in Friday's episode, at the beginning, we call somebody.
Ooh.
And we get them to do it for us.
Nice. That's amazing.
But that's Friday. This is Wednesday, and we are here to do a monthly news roundup. Roll that intro.
Here we are for the monthly news roundup. I've been well excited for this one. This is going to be like this. Literally, this is going to put January's one to complete shame.
Yeah.
January's one, you might remember, is where we had no news, nothing to talk about. We finished it, and then about 10 news stories broke overnight.
Yeah, literally
the day that we recorded it, all of the news came out, so that our episode looked like we were on a completely different planet. But we don't have that issue this month, which is great news. Do you want to hit us up straight off the back with
what
some
are we going to talk
news
about?
that you
What
have?
are we going to talk about?
We haven't discussed this, so
No.
So this is great. But I have I'm going to hop to Sony.
Okay.
Sony Spider-Verse, which has not been going well. Obviously, we've had the complete and utter disaster that is Madam Web. Madam Web had a 64% drop at domestic box office for a second weekend, which is steep. And its budget was 80 million, and the project is projected to only reach 35 million. By the end of the weekend. So it is really, really flopped.
Do you know what? When we saw each other, we met up a couple weeks ago, didn't we? And we actually met up on the release date of Madam Web. And just by chance, I was like, well, let's have a look, see if it's on in the cinema. And it wasn't on our chosen cinema, and selected times was only on another cinema that's in where we are. And I think that's got a lot to show for the failure of this movie. I mean, haven't seen it, so I'm not going to just kind of throw massive judgments at it. But like online, it's been resoundingly panned. More, you could say more so than Morbius.
Yes,
like really panned.
Yeah, and I think again, like I say, we haven't seen it, and again, I've got to take a kind of what we were talking about with the Marvels, which is it is a female-led movie, and what I don't want is what the community can often get into, which is like, well, it's female led, of course it's gonna be shit. Oh bloody, where's the blokes at? Oh, bloody, it's an action film. Oh. So you have to kind of differentiate between that bollocks and the actual kind of people who would go and watch these movies and understand when they see a bad film. Now, this is panned so badly that I can only assume that the film is god-awful as well. Yeah. So I think we can take with a pinch of salt, but we can also assume that this is so heavily panned in the way that Morbius was, that Sony again have failed to materialise a half-decent movie. But we could have a change in the weather coming, man. Venom 3 hit. So star of Venom 3, we've got Juno Temple is in Venom 3. And she has come out and said that we are coming close to the end of filming, of wrapping the movie. Now, what had completely lost me is that Venom is coming out in November. Venom 3 is out this November. Yeah, which it hasn't really had a hell of a lot of marketing yet. Not that it would do if it's not stopped filming, but we haven't had a teaser in the same way that we have with Deadpool 3. We haven't had anything really, so we've got no idea what the content of this movie is going to be. But Venom 2 was a great success. It was good success for Sony. The first Venom wasn't too bad. I think Venom 2 was kind of received better than the first. But will that change the course that Sony's currently on? Because the other film they've got coming out this year is Kraven the Hunter. Now, I don't think Kraven the Hunter is definitely going to change the course. I think Kraven the Hunter is going to be it's going to be another flop. I cannot see how Kraven the Hunter is going to be a good film. Any footage we've seen of it already looks god awful. And yeah, it just doesn't look good. So I'm really hoping Venom 3 out this November could change. Well, and it has to. I think if Venom 3 doesn't hit, Sony have seriously got to give up Spider-Man.
It feels like Venom 3 is the potential saving grace for Sony's failures this year. I think I'm going to throw in a complete assumption here. I'm with you. I don't think Craven's going to have the effect it probably was hoping for in terms of it establishing this anti-hero, or even, again, I don't understand why Sony are just telling stories about potential villains for Spider-Man and even not doing it in a way that's a villain. Again, you're just showing, villains trying to be, or actually being anti-heroes or vigilantes. Just make them bad, be bad. Like, you can still play a story like that. But Craven doesn't look like it's going to hit. I think this would be Venom 3, the last kind of like chance for them to do something. Now, I mean, there's speculation about a Spider-Man turning up in Venom 3. I'd be very surprised if there is even going to be a mention of a Spider-Man in Venom 3. But like, people are suggesting whether either Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland, or Andrew Garfield will turn up. Do you think that's going to happen, Forrest?
No. I don't think that's going to happen. Categorically not. What I hope happens is, I think Sony need Miles Morales. I think why they are not focusing on being the Spider-Verse that brings Miles Morales to the forefront, that makes sense to me. Deal with something that's brand new. MCU haven't touched it yet, so MCU have got more than enough going on. Give Miles Morales to Sony, but say you need to put all of your Spider-Man eggs in that basket. Make Miles the focus. Make Miles the pinpoint. It will get the natural interest of everybody. You know, across the Spider-Verse, all those films have done so well. So now is time to put in a live-action version of Miles Morales. That's what I want. I
think, and as well, like, it's time. It's time. Like, Tom Holland's story, and as well, there's rumours and news going around that the script of Spider-Man 4, Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4, is being rushed by Sony because of the failures, because of things that are happening. They want it to be pushed forward, and apparently they can't come to an agreement on what the story will be and how it will be played out. But it's got to involve in some way the introduction of passing of the torch to Miles Morales. This is what the audience would want. You know, we've had such a success with the animated movies. I mean, huge success. Not like those movies have, you could make the argument, has transformed animated cinema and created it in a way of its own genre, of its own subculture, and it's a brilliant couple of movies. And obviously we've got the third installment with that coming out soon, and I can only think that there might be a potential of linking that third installment for Miles Morales' animated versions to Spider-Man 4, some sort of like joining up, you know, bringing that multiverse into live action, other than actually just reintroducing a brand new Miles Morales in a different, universe.
Agreed. Someone in Sony needs to just go, we need to let loose of Spider-Man. Just get you've done nothing with it. These characters never work out for you. Sell it to Marvel. Sell it back to Marvel. Give all the rights back to Marvel, and let Marvel just do what they want to do with it.
Yeah.
Right. They have tried to no avail whatsoever. And someone in Sony Entertainment needs to just be saying, enough's enough. Like, what? We're not making any money from these movies. Look at Madam Web. We're losing money. We're losing millions and millions on these films. What is the point in keeping the rights to these characters and causing this whole? Because the other thing with Spider-Man 4, and probably the reason why they've got to rush it, if I'm not mistaken, haven't they got to do a property of it in order to keep it for so long?
Yes, they've got to create content. Yeah.
They have to create content in it. So that's the other thing. We're just getting garbage handed out left, right, and centre. And I think, to be honest, if I was Kevin Feige, I'd be going, right, okay, here's my proposal. You want to rush out Spider-Man 4. You want to make it bollocks, right? And rumour has it Tom Holland's totally, is all over the place, kind of being like, making some decisions and going, that's not good enough. I'd say, go for it. Make your shit film, but we're not putting any money into it. This is solely a Sony production. We'll allow you to do it, but any money lost, you have to deal with it. Because let's be honest, the budget they'll have for Spider-Man 4 is going to be huge. Tom Holland's, Holland's salary enough will be more than Madam Web's, for sure. So do it. I would be Kevin. I'd be going, right, you do it, Sony. You get it all on your shoulders. But if you lose money, then good luck to you. Because hopefully it will put Sony in the corner where they'll go, look, we cannot afford to do this like absolute joke of a can't afford to do it anymore.
The other thing is like just talking about focusing on Tom Holland for a moment. So Tom Holland has announced that he's going to be in a production of Romeo and Juliet in the West End. I called to Rachel a couple months ago, knowing that Tom Holland said that he was announcing he was going on a break from cinema. He was going on a break, taking a step back on acting, focusing on things that he enjoys like golf and that, and he's been doing lots of stuff for charity and stuff. And I said to Rachel, I was like, look, I think he's going to go back to his theatre roots. Obviously, he's one of the originals, in terms of Billy Elliot on stage. That's his original kind of home, let's say. And here we are. He's going to be taking on Romeo and Juliet, which is very exciting and obviously a massive draw for, the industry that we work in. But like, it's clear that he is in a transitional point in his career. You can argue that he was a child star. You can argue he's grown up in the entertainment industry, and now he's in his early adulthood, let's say. He's trying to figure out what's going on, and I do feel like whatever's happening with Spider-Man 4, it's got to have the final say from him in terms of what story does he want and what story does he want to complete his arc for Spider-Man, because it's been so monumental, generational change as well, and incredibly popular. People will always remember him as Spider-Man, and I think that's something that if you're going to do a last one, it's got to go out on his terms. So we'll have to wait and see, obviously, but I'm scared because that's got lots of pressure on it, almost too much. How can you really hit that? It's the same thing. It's the same issues and worries that I have for Deadpool 3. There is so much on Deadpool 3 to succeed. There is so much on this movie. It's going to obviously it's going to be a massive hit because so many people are going to go and see it. But with that comes an incredible amount of pressure. God knows how Ryan Reynolds feels right now. But I mean, he's chairman of a football team that he's trying to bring up.
Yeah, I think
I'm sure he can handle it. But
even if this was a great big turd, I think Ryan Reynolds is absolutely safe for life. To be fair, at this point, the guy's spread his wings so far, isn't he? But
Should we talk about that? Should we talk about that teaser trailer?
That was a lovely little segue to Deadpool 3 there, mate. That was marvellous work there, Matt.
Thank you very much. Tried and tested, here we are.
Oh, it's beautiful. So, yeah, the teaser for Deadpool 3 looks amazing. I think I messaged you at the time to say it's very interesting for me that within that teaser, almost all of the footage was evidently from the first half an hour of the film, and for me, that's like the greatest thing, because if you get a trailer for a film that is brilliant. And it is quite clear that the vast majority of footage in that clip comes from the first section of the film, then 9 times out of 10 that means that the overall film must be incredible. Because if they're able to save that away for when it comes out, genius. Love that.
There's the sheer response and as well, Super Bowl were flipping clever. They were so clever.
They were so clever.
They were so clever. They were very clever here in terms of bringing an MCU audience to the Super Bowl. You know, they might not everybody enjoys the Super Bowl, but particularly internationally, people literally only watch the Super Bowl to watch this trailer in real time. So incredibly clever things there, and also Blake, Ryan Reynolds' other half, was obviously at the Super Bowl with Taylor Swift. Apparently, she was seen pictured with a bracelet of the Deadpool Wolverine logo as well that she got made for him.
Amazing.
Which is, and all these little things, absolutely fantastic. They really took over social media. But there are some details, man. So many details. And what I've really loved is seeing all of the responses, podcasts out there, you know, and fans deep diving, shot by shot, frame by frame of this teaser trailer. And in terms of what we can say, I mean, I'm not going to list every single one of them, but the obvious ones is that, you know, we've got the TVA, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And now the kind of rumors are kind of this looks like the TVA that Loki has fixed. So it's quite clear that we've got a new version of the TVA that's now up to date. It's not in the past, or it might be. I don't know. But like, it looks like it feels like it's going to be canon to what we've seen from Loki series 2.
Yes, absolutely. And the do you know what my favourite bit about those scenes were? Is that the fact that we are now going to have Matthew McFadden, who was in Succession.
Yes,
and he is incredible actor. Yeah. So those scenes that had him in it, and I was like, oh my god, this is it. This is it. So yeah, we had TVA, we had Silhouette of our good friend Wolverine. We also, I think the biggest thing for me, Matt, was that so there was a scene in the snow. And it's quite commonly out there now that looks like, I believe, Age of Ultron's fight scene that starts the film. And then people are saying, okay, right, so is it that Deadpool is getting shoehorned into all of these various different Avengers moments? Which,
you know, when it was like Agatha all along. You know, Agatha did that. It was Agatha all along. It was like Deadpool was there all along.
Deadpool was there all along. Yeah, and I think that'd be great. But again, as long as it's not just done as a kind of like gimmick. I don't want this film to be full of, oh yeah, we've got cameos, like, we got this left, right and centre. Please be for genuine reasons. Please, you know, don't shoehorn him in loads of Avengers films. If there isn't something pinnacle that we have missed as a viewer, or we thought happened because of someone but actually happened because of him, I want something there to be something genuinely that he has, he's had power over, and it can be done comedically for sure. But so I would love if, for instance, there was a moment with Captain Marvel in Endgame where she travels in air, doesn't she? And she kind of, I'm talking bullshit, but there's moments where certain superheroes do certain things, and it'd be amazing if we kind of rewrite that, because actually it was Deadpool doing it. And then all of these characters are seeing Deadpool, but Deadpool just keeps going, shh. My time will come.
My time will come.
Don't talk about me. yeah. It'd be great. It'd be really good. And there are moments where it does work. He'd be great in certain Guardians things. There's been a lot of, so when Guardians departed with Thor, and there was all of those things going on, beginning of the Thor movie. Was it gods? All of the gods doing wrong things, or some reason that they split up, and it would be great if Deadpool was a part of that, because Deadpool and the Guardians would be a great fit. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I just hope it's not too gimmicky. That's all I'll say.
we've also got moments in the teaser trailer where you can see the Fox logo, so the 20th Century Fox logo, and that's when the silhouette of Wolverine turns. So I theory with that is that we'll get the 20th Century Fox logo in the beginning of the movie, and it just breaks down into immediate fight. And like, so then
Amazing.
we see it crumble, we see it fall, and then that kind of like a little starts the movie potentially. But like, that's how meta they're going. And again, it's you know, the fact that he outright talks about Disney, talks about being the savior of the MCU. That is quintessential Deadpool. So we're gonna get all of the tricks, the lines, the quirks, all of that's going to be in there, and they're not going to pull any punches as well. So I think in terms of what they put together in that teaser trailer is exactly what it needed to do. And also not seeing Wolverine is, well, we saw the back of the head of a Wolverine, and my theory is that's Daniel Radcliffe, by the way. But I think that was clever. That was a good thing to do. Don't show him until you get to the cinema or the next trailer.
Yeah, and that's another thing is please let there only be 2 maximum trailers. I don't want endless footage being revealed before we go into cinema. Like, this deserves to be surprised. And the thing is, what will happen, and it will be devastating when it does, this is going to be leaked to shit. Many. It is such a big a film, and it's a big film for people who wouldn't ordinarily engage in the MCU, don't normally watch superhero film. So you're going to get so many people leaking this. So and they will know that, you know, like there's certain it's happened in the gaming industry a hell of a lot recently. The Wolverine game got completely leaked, all of that, and I can really see that happening, and that's what I'm really worried about. But I will, if it does, I'm keeping myself off social media because I want this movie to be a complete surprise when I go in. The other thing linked to what we talked about before about Sony is I'm really hoping there is a bit of a prod and a bit of a tease to Sony in this, where Deadpool goes, "Oh, you see what happens when you put a character in the MCU, like, you know, and it's actually done properly, Sony." Or so how it would be sick having Spider-Man. Maybe Spider-Man comes in and he's like, "Yeah, we're not allowed to show him because of Sony. So if you could sort your shit out." I mean, like, mate, just bring in Spider-Man, but like put him it like it's all in black, so you just see the figure of it. And it's like, yeah, Sony wouldn't give us the rights, but maybe next time. Here we go. I think there's so many good opportunities in this to really tap into like fan theories, fan opinions, all of that stuff. I think great.
But I think just to be, and again to mention, we mentioned it last month's podcast when we were talking about this. Can we all agree, MCU fandom here, that this is not going to solve the MCU issue as much as it's going to be part of addressing it? It's not going to completely solve and resolve, and all of a sudden the MCU is back on top. We've met a new golden era. It's not going to happen. So don't go in expecting that that's going to happen. You're going to watch the third installment of Deadpool that has been introduced into the MCU. That is what we're going to get. That is what our payoff is going to be, but not the overall fixing the golden threads and all that kind of stuff. Because I think that's where we're going to potentially, get backlash and disappointment coming in.
100% agree. Yeah. But do you know the one thing that would be against that? One thing that could mean that this is the game changer. What if by the end of this movie,
what we did there,
we have the Deadpool dynasty? This is the movie that changes Kang into Deadpool being the threat. So we think that Deadpool is working with the TVA to help the Avengers. All along, this movie is to change Kang into Deadpool. TVA are working against the Avengers.
Mate, that is the boldest theory that you've had since Obadiah being Thanos.
But if they went down that plot, I would be like, you know what? You have all my money. Like, if they turn Deadpool into the number one enemy, which he already is, like he's not a hero as such. The guy is kind of semi-villain, so it's like have him. It would be mate, it'd be genius. That's a genius move. The Deadpool dynasty would be incredible.
Dynasty.
And he's just there, him and Loki versus. Oh, mate, that'd be have all my money. But it'll be one way to sell your next few films. Yeah, just take it all. I don't care. Take the podcast. Take the podcast with you. See you later. But yeah,
well, that's exciting.
I do agree with you.
I think we need to. Everybody keeps talking about Deadpool now, so I think just let that teaser trailer simmer, let everything simmer, and let's just wait till we get to the end of spring, and then till we see that final trailer. But yeah, very exciting. There's also, just as exciting, this sort of lovely little Valentine's Day, which so happened to be the day that Madam Web came out. We had the release of the casting for Fantastic Four. My friend, what are your thoughts?
Pedro Pascal, I'm so confused. I remember we had this conversation on Unqualified Heroes last year when Pedro was being rumoured to be in it, but it hadn't been confirmed. And I'll say what I said on there, which was the age of Pedro Pascal, doesn't work for me. Yeah. In that role, it doesn't really make sense. However, the only way for me that makes sense is because they are going to introduce and kill off that character in the first film. I think they're gonna go massive. They're gonna make a massive move on it, and we are going to get Storm lead Fantastic Four from the second movie onwards.
Oh, okay.
And I think they're going to kill him off because you came up with a great theory as well at that point.
I did.
Tell him your theory. Fantastic.
So the obviously, just to kind of give context to this, so the image of Fantastic Four is giving us the retro vibes. It's giving me Fallout vibes as well, which is really exciting. Not to mention the Fallout.
Oh my god, yes!
Prime series that's coming out.
Yeah, it is
very exciting. But it's giving me that, and then I came in immediately going, yeah, this is set in the '60s, and obviously it is. There's cues in the image with, I think, the magazine. That's being read out in the image that you can see. That's giving a link to the 60s. Now, my theory with Fantastic Four is that we are going to see why the MCU never spoke about the Fantastic Four, even from the beginning of Iron Man 2008. I think we're going to see an incursion or something on a multiversal scale that has happened in this moment in time, and then that I think they'll either get lost in an incursion, something will happen, there'll be kind of like an intergalactic space issue that happens, an accident, which will then follow up to potentially the demise of the whole Fantastic Four, or just them going on them missing, and then the end credits we will then see them come back, and that could either be instantaneous, that could be coming threaded through into Secret Wars, but I feel like we're gonna get a reason why the MCU haven't spoken about Fantastic Four, but I'm really, really excited by it. I've got visions of it being opportunities to see Dominic Cooper come back as Howard Stark, opportunities of seeing Ant-Man, maybe a young version of Hank Pym as Ant-Man in there, which would be exciting. So seeing these kind of more retro, let's say legacy, roles, I'm excited to see, and I think that's an opportunity for it. But mate, placing it in a different decade, particularly in the 60s, a flipping brilliant shout. Because I genuinely think that will give it a unique IP that the MCU haven't been able to do yet.
Yes, I completely agree.
Should we talk about the casting? We haven't actually mentioned who's playing what.
Yeah, we haven't. So we have got Pedro Pascal plays Reed Richards, and again, I'm going to say I don't think we're going to have Reed after the first film. We're gonna. I think it makes no sense why he will be so much older that like. Even if it works now, by the time we get to any sequels, he'll be so old for Reed Richards. He's not gonna be doing like helping the gang with all kinds of stuff. It just doesn't work for me. But he's great though. I like. Don't get me. None of this is like. I love Pedro Pascal, and him as Joel in The Last of Us is insane casting.
Yeah,
him as Reed Richards slightly puzzles me. But anyway, we got him. We've got Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, which I think is. I mean, slightly love a bit of Vanessa. Got to be honest. Vanessa was incredible. I believe Mission Impossible was the last time we would have seen her.
Yeah,
in
first time I watched her
big.
was in The Crown. She was amazing in The Crown.
In The Crown, Mission Impossible, she was amazing in. Yeah, she Vanessa as Sue Storm at genius casting. Love that. We've then got Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. What do you think about that?
I'm loving that. That is brilliant. And again, that's bringing all the Stranger Things fandom to the product. He is actually a fantastic actor. And we're not just kind of saying he is an amazing Eddie. He was amazing as Eddie, but like he's gonna bring something to this role. I think in terms of comedy, in terms of seriousness, emotional depth as well for this character. And I think that's something that kind of I'm gonna throw in a little jipe here against Chris Evans. I think got a little bit lost when Chris played it. And they tried to bring that into Silver Surfer. We spoke about that with Unqualified Heroes a few months ago. And I think he's going to absolutely smash this. I'm excited for that. But there's actually one particular role I'm excited about, which is the next one you're about to say.
Which is Ben Grimm, I believe, who is it Ebon?
Ebon Moss.
Ebon Moss, is that how you pronounce it? Ebon Moss Backrack. Who I'll be honest, have no idea because I haven't watched The Punisher, and he's in The Punisher, right?
He's in The Punisher. He is in The
He's
Punisher.
in The Punisher.
He's also in The Bear as
The Bear. The way you
The
said
Bear.
That. He's in The Bear.
Me and Rachel have just watched The Bear, and we've binged all 2 series, and the new series is coming out in June this year. Honestly, dear listener, if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's so good. But he is so good in The Bear, and he's brilliant. And yeah, again, I think that's a bit of perfect casting. I think, yeah, I'm with you. The only one I'm kind of like interesting choice is Reed Richards, but there's got to be a reason, mate. There's got to be a reason. I trust it.
Yeah, I trust. I think the other side, the flip side to it, is that they have done what I love about the cast, apart from Pedro Pascal, is that we have got actors who are. All of the actors are well known and famous. However, I would argue none of them, even Eddie, even our friend who plays Eddie, Joseph Quinn, none of them are famous because they are attached to a certain role. Right, so they might have done roles that are famous, so Stranger Things, Eddie, but you don't go around going, oh yeah, Eddie, are you Joseph Quinn? Oh yeah, really like you might know these actors, but you won't necessarily know the characters attached to them, and they are certainly not mainstream iconic. They might be iconic within, if you're a Stranger Things fan, Eddie's an incredible character. Outside of Stranger Things, you haven't got someone who's been the Joker. You haven't got someone who's played the Queen in something, or you haven't got notorious actors who are known for one character, and that's what I love, because actually it's taken really good actors that are not associated to a big character and is now putting them into something that they will be associated for. if it does well. I think
well, it's got a bad track record. I think that's the best way to put it, isn't it?
Yes, but it has, but sometimes unfairly so. I don't think I think the Fantastic Four of old, not the most recent one. I say recent, a few years ago now. Yeah. But the one that we all talk about, which is early noughties, that got Silver Surfer as well. Yeah, it in the time period wasn't necessarily an awful film. There are bad things about it. It's very, very early noughties. Like, there are some things about gender and sex, and you're like, what? That just wouldn't be in a film now. Like, some of it is so like, oh my God. But, Sophie's watching Grey's Anatomy downstairs. That's not much bloody better for that type of crap, I tell you that. Literally, I'm like, what are you watching? But yeah, anyway, by the by. So I think really, really happy with the cast. Quite confused with Pedro and Pascal. But as you say, Matt, they have done it for a reason. And I'm sure that reason will be he will be meeting his early demise quite quickly.
Oh my God! Well, I am excited. It's definitely got me excited. I think a genius choice is placing it in the 60s or a more kind of date it back. Yes, brilliant. Because again, that it gives it the roots of the comics as well. It is an older, comic. It's one of the OGs in a way. So yeah, it's great. I'm looking forward to seeing what the teaser trailer is going to come from it.
Yes, I absolutely can't wait, and that's next year now, right? It's 2025, so 2025 is proper beefy. We've got. I did have. Did I put it? No, I closed it. I think I did have something that told me next year, because next year there's some quality films coming out. Because we've got Blade. Potentially Blade, but that's kind of vague. Thunderbolts we've definitely got. Fantastic Four we've got, and there's something else as well. What else is going on? There's next year. Born Again.
That's TV.
That's Daredevil. Yeah, still. So we've got some great properties coming out next year. Before we move on.
Go on.
Before we do, I was going to reveal the news that Ebon Moss made about Ben Grimm. Did you hear about that?
Yes, go on.
So he has come out and announced that Ben Grimm will be motion capture, not a suit. So it'll be done through motion capture. Now this could be great. However, knowing what visual effects have been like lately for Marvel, slightly worries me.
We'll have to wait and see. They've got to be aware that that's got to be a huge thing, and that's going to take a ridiculous amount of time. But I think maybe. I mean, against all the kind of nano suits that we got in Infinity War and all that kind of stuff, the Iron Spider suit was complete mocap. There were moments you can see that. There were moments you couldn't see that. So like there have been successes of decent mocap suits and armor for MCU heroes. So we'll have to wait and see. I think that was the better choice. I think instead, if you were doing it practical, you're at risk of it becoming quite restrictive for the actor, and also it dating it back to the early noughties as well. But he also said he knew about his casting back in August, so he revealed that in Jimmy Kimmel earlier this week. So like they had the casting wrapped up, mate, by August 2023.
Something else I saw though, right, and this is obviously part of the rumourville. So he announced that, and then I saw online some people think that there was another actor that they approached, Reed Richards. Really? However, they had to, and it doesn't say who. It's just like it is a belief that someone else was approached to be Reed. They didn't want to do it, whatever it might be, and then they saw how widely accepted and widely liked Pedro Pascal's rumour was that they ultimately made the decision. Now, I think that's I think that's bollocks, because to be quite honest, as we've just gone on about, Pedro Pascal's casting is quite an odd one when you look at the rest of the cast. Yeah. So for them to not have a story behind that and to just think that's fine would be absurd. Because by any sequel, by any threequel, that guy's going to be aging. He's going to look old.
Oh my God, yeah.
So, and compared to the rest of the cast, that's going to be mad unless there's a very specific reason for it. So.
Shall we talk about some new news?
Oh, hit me up with your new news.
Well, obviously, we just mentioned Daredevil. But Daredevil is still currently in filming. We had, and according to X, now this is via Anthony Ween, VO, on X, there are images of White Tiger and the Punisher on set. So a stunt double was shown, but John Bernthal was spotted filming as of the night of 17th of February. So they are introducing new characters, new heroes, new villains, but also bringing back the legacy characters from the Netflix series. Obviously, we've heard that we're going to get Foggy back as well. Karen's coming back, so which is brilliant. Did you see the suit that they released for Daredevil? The new suit for Daredevil. What are your thoughts on that? It's been mixed.
Right, I'm going to say what I've said. It's just very boring of me, but I have not watched the Netflix Daredevil. I have never watched. So for me, all of this is just brand new stuff, Matt. So it looks all right. Like, I know so, but I'm quite comfortable in knowing so little, because I want us later in the year, we will go and watch Daredevil, and I will watch it for the first time. Because what I don't want to do is go and watch a bit now and then be like, all of my thoughts are skewed because I haven't quite watched it all. So
we'll have to. I think so. Basically, it's a little bit brighter. It's a meatier suit than it was the previous ones. So there's more combat style.
It's been in the air fryer.
It's been. Well, it hasn't been, because it hasn't been sucked in, mate. You know. But we'll have to wait and see. I think it's kind of. I feel like they've given him a brighter suit for then an edit, when they make it darker and they change the color grading of the series, because obviously that's got to meet against the Netflix. The color grading of the Netflix series was really dark. It all had that red tone in it. I think that will come off really nicely in the series when they do it. So I think it's all just kind of for editing purposes.
Yeah. Nice.
Right.
But yes.
Well,
we got some great stuff. Don't think so. We are still waiting for. So apparently, Mark Ruffalo has said that he was told there will not be another standalone Hulk movie. I'm quite disappointed by that. I think we've never really tapped into Hulk's. How good Hulk can be. I think we've always got just a little bit of an iffy Hulk, but I do think there's a good base there to go to. But we will hopefully get him in Avengers movies. There's rumours that we might get. So part of War of the Hulk, I believe, is that he becomes a bit of an enemy for the Avengers at one point. And there's rumour that they might have that storyline placed in a Futures Avengers film, which wouldn't be bad. But I don't know. I think She-Hulk really confused matters for Hulk, because I think Marvel can't really afford for how badly that was received to happen again. So I do. We
definitely need a payoff in and more information on Hulk's son Scar. But like I think that's where it will happen, and I think that's where it'll end for Mark Ruffalo. We're most likely going to get him obviously in the last Avengers movies, but like that, even that I don't think will be a big part for him. He's off doing brilliant things in terms of other projects. Have you seen him in? Oh gosh, the movie just went out of my head with Emma Stone.
Pretty Little Things. Pretty
Things.
Pretty Things. Maybe the one that Emma Stone just got an award for, didn't she? Got a BAFTA for it. No, I haven't seen it, but I have very much heard of it. And
Poor things.
Poor thing. I didn't know he was in it either, to be fair.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
he's amazing.
Oh, cool. Oh, brilliant.
He's such a good actor. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see with that. But Forrest, we have received some comments for this old improv we're about to go and film.
Whoa, I've still got a bit more. Have
you?
Mate. Just
oh my god! Look, I heard that little click. Sorry, go on. I'm just eager.
You're
for
so
Friday
excited.
now.
You're so excited for
We've done
Friday's
Wednesday.
episode.
Thanks for listening to this. Let's see you on Friday. Ooh, that's where the better content's gonna be.
Jesus Christ. So they think. So the other bits were that actor Simu Liu, who was Shang-Chi, is uncertain about whether he will appear in Avengers: The King Dynasty. He's excited to focus on Shang-Chi 2, although it's not had a set release date. Daniel Cretton, who helmed the first Shang-Chi, is due to come back to do Shang-Chi 2. So that'll be exciting. And also, I have some Eternals 2 news.
I do too, and I voted to not say anything. But okay, go on. What is it? What's the Eternals news, Forrest?
So Eternals 2 is rumoured to unveil a battle against Thanos' variant.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And they're using
Okay.
And they're going to bring in our good friend Harry Styles.
Oh,
Thanos,
is he?
apparently,
show up, is he?
Apparently, it's that Thanos' son will combine with the Eternals to fight a variant of Thanos. Now, I think that would be a good plot.
I really hope Josh Brolin absolutely canes him. just like, whoosh! He's like one punch, he's out. Sends him back to One Direction. Boom! Like that. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. That's it. We'll move on. You let's hear the excitement of we've actually got some Instagram.
I wasn't going to reveal anything. I was just saying we have got some responses. So, dear listener, thank you for listening to this podcast. Again, if you've got any news or any comments or anything like that, please do give us an email on don'tbeherapodcast@gmail.com. Also, if you've listened to this point, again, I commend your commitment. Honestly, you are the best. Love your face, because this is obviously huge for us. We're doing more content. We're bringing more reels out, more all of this across. If you're not following us on TikTok, make sure you do. Also, if you're on YouTube and you like to listen on YouTube, we'll get lots more content coming out on YouTube as well. So make sure you subscribe to us on there. But also, give us a follow, give us a like, give us a review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, because that's obviously, this is our main port of call in terms of content. That goes a long way.
Wherever you listen to us, give us a rating. Just flip up on the Spotify. You've just got to put 5 stars, and then job done. That's a review, and then that will, just every little helps.
Yeah,
thank you.
Bob from Belgium, get your girlfriend involved as well. Okay, just make sure.
Natasha, let's see more of Natasha.
Yeah. Still suspicious. Still. My leg keeps every time I mention Bob from Belgium, my leg just like twitches. And I'm like moving my leg up and down really quickly. I'm like, it's just a puzzle. It's a puzzle for me. I love it. It's great. Okay, anyway. See you on Friday, mate.
See you then. But yeah, next week on our main podcast day, we will be doing our highlights of Phase 4. We've finished Phase 4. We'll be talking about I Am Groot. We rounding it off with highlights, and then we can finally, after literally probably over a year, I think it's been, where we can go to Phase 5, and we've got about 10 to 15 podcasts before we would have finished our MCU marathon. And then it will be hella emotional. We're also, as of this podcast, we'll be 10 podcasts away from 100 podcasts. So we'll do a special little live for that. There's loads of stuff going on. There's so much in the pipeline. Amazing. It's exciting. But for now, Matt, adios, amigo.
Peace.